So basically, now this for motor, we start for motor. The power developed by the motor depends upon the output power plus the rotational losses, because the power that is required by the motor is mechanical in nature, because input supply to the motor would be electrical and output of the motor is mechanical in nature, whereas in case of the generator, the input to the generator is mechanical in nature and the output is in electrical form. So this output to the generator would depend upon the input power minus your rotational losses. So any which ways you can write. So the efficiency of the generator, if you want to see, your input power is what you can write like this. Your in efficiency, you can write efficiency is output by input. You can write like this: efficiency is output by input. So your input is output by efficiency. So here you can write in the generator this your P by efficiency minus rotational losses. Rotational losses. You need a board. Can you see? Huh? You relate this. See, your PA is equal to input minus rotational losses. So your input power, instead of input power, he has written output power by efficiency. Here in the equation, I have shown how minus the rotational losses. Can you see this, Viramani? Viramani, hello, anyone there? Viram,
Yes, sir.
can you see what I'm showing with the hand? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you came to understand.
Okay,
So certain things I will write like this because okay, for explanation purpose. So this is like this and what happened? No. Yes. So we have seen that okay, these things are happening like that, and your now like for the machines, the rotational losses for large machines. This is large machines. Rotational losses are comparatively small. Thus, the difference between PA and this thing is very PA and minus rotational losses is very small. So, in case of large machines, your this thing is very small. Your rotational losses in case of your large machines would be very small. But in case of small machines, so the difference between your mechanical, what do you say, between your acceleration power and the actual power, because the rotational losses are small, so it would be very small. So the rotational losses may be neglected, and hence we can say our output power PA is equal to P. So one thing is there now this thing for generators. What happened? So for generators, what we can write is that for small machines, now in case of a small machine, the rotational losses, one second, for small machines, the rotational losses will considerable amount of the output power, and they could be neglected. So let's assume, for example, the rotational loss happens to be one third of the total loss. A rotational loss happens in the windings, that the friction, windage, and all. Apart from the rotational loss, there are the loss in the. You tell me. Apart from the rotational loss, what loss you encounter? Tell me.
For losses.
Core losses, nice, and copper losses also in the
Iron
winding.
losses.
See, core losses.
Hysteresis losses.
Core losses and iron losses is one and the same thing. Okay. Core means what? Core is made up of iron. CRGO, I told you in the very beginning. Cold rolled grain oriented steel they are using. Okay. So this core is made up of iron. So whether you call it as core loss or iron loss, same name for the thing, or constant loss, because your material loss is constant. Okay. But whereas the other thing is copper loss. Okay, that depends upon your current, the amount of current you are passing inside the copper, that depends upon that. Because usually whenever inside your home also, if you will notice one thing, you take a multimeter, any plug point, you connect that multimeter, the voltage would be 240 or 220, whatever it is coming in any plug, because it will remain same. your circuit, all the circuit items is connected in parallel at home. If it is connected in series, means what will happen? If one circuit trips, entire current
Correct.
will go. That's why the circuit arrangement is in parallel. So the only thing is that the current will depend upon the amount of material or the load which you are connecting. So now the same thing here is that the rotational loss here is very less compared to this loss. So the total loss would be your input power minus your output power. So input power, just now I showed you, your input power is C. Your input power is output power by efficiency. This output power by efficiency. So this P by efficiency that you are seeing in the cursor, P by efficiency minus my output power. So because your output power and your input power is very close, because you are neglecting almost the losses. So you can write P, you can take common outside, and total loss you can write in terms of efficiency. P is equal to 1 minus efficiency by efficiency. So the rotation, so these losses we assume to be one third of the total loss. So the rotational loss would be one third of this part. So one third of this part would be 1 by 3 P 1 minus efficiency. Now for small motors output, see, output power plus rotational loss also we have written for small motors. What we have seen, the one thing is you see see for the motors. Now this was for the generators. For the motors, how it is expressed, output power plus rotational loss. So in terms of output power plus this thing you can express. So here you know that the rotational loss including friction and winding loss was one third of this P 1 minus efficiency by efficiency. Now in case of a motor, output power plus rotational loss would be, so output power will remain as it is P, and your rotational loss is how much? Rotational loss is one third of the total loss, one third of P, 1 minus efficiency by efficiency. So this becomes P plus one third of P, 1 minus efficiency by efficiency. If you fractionalize this thing, so your 3 into efficiency will come over here. So and you will get this P you can take outside, and this P also you can, because this P also you can take outside. See, essentially this will become P 1 plus 2 efficiency by 3 efficiency. You know what? You multiply this here. 3 efficiency by P, you multiply here, there. So here you get P, here you get minus P efficiency. So 3P efficiency minus P efficiency will get 2 efficiency, 1 will remain. So this is very easy mathematics, everybody can do, no problem on that. Now also for this small generators, again I have told you that in the very beginning this PA is equal to P efficiency minus rotational losses. So usually P efficiency will remain as it is. Your rotational losses is one third of P, 1 minus efficiency by efficiency. Here you have calculated one third of P, 1 minus efficiency by efficiency. That value you put over here. Again back substitute. So you will get the value, total value, like for the power is P 2 plus efficiency, 3 efficiency. So you noticed one thing. So here it is for the generators, 3 efficiency is there. Uh, Here instead of 1 there is 2 for the generators, but for the motors you have 1. The only difference in the formula here is, here there is 2 and here there is 1. Means your 1 plus 2 efficiency gets changed into 2 plus efficiency. See here, 2 plus efficiency. If you remember one formula, then you can interchange in the numerator, you can get another formula. If you remember formula for the motor, you can remember formula for the generator. Again, in every machine which we have studied till far, be it transformer, be it induction motor, be it synchronous generator, what we have noticed is we have taken care for the specific loadings of the DC machine. Again, the specific loadings of the DC machine is the average magnetic flux density. Okay, one parameter is that. Second is the electrical flux, sorry, electrical conductor, electrical turns of the conductors. So that those are the things we which we again have to take into consideration. So the choice of the specific loading BAV, it depends upon what. So the various factors are there. See, frequency will govern. Now you must be telling me, sir, this is a DC machine wherein this frequency is coming into play. Now what happens is that you are giving the supply to the DC motor as DC only, but once you are giving the supply, can a direct current lead to rotation? Hmm. Have you heard of a single phase DC machine? Hmm. So for a rotation to happen, what is the most important factor? Viramani, you tell me, Thara. For a rotation to happen, what is the main important factor? Suppose, can you see this pen? Anybody is there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You should respond now. In between, you should talk to me. Otherwise,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Rajat. Yeah, Fakresh. Can you see this pen? So
Yes, sir.
if I,
Blue color marker.
huh? Now
Marker pencil.
marker. Now suppose this is my hand. This is my hand. If I am giving equal force to it, anything will happen. Nothing will
Yes, sir.
happen. Can you see this mouse? It's like an egg. I'm giving the same force to it. Whether it will break, it will not break. Like this, I'm saying. Now what I do is
Sir,
that now what I do is that this hand I keep little loose, this hand I put little force, so it starts to rotate. So one thing
yes, sir.
we have noticed, for a rotation in electrical field, we need a little bit of phase shift. What we need? A phase shift. So in a single phase supply is not capable to give phase shift. Even if you will notice an induction motor in your house also, you will notice it will not rotate with single phase power supply, but it rotates with single phase power supply only with the help of capacitor. If the capacitor is gone, it will not rotate. Okay, so this is one of the important aspects. So some sort of noise started to come, huh? So yeah, hello, yes. So choice of the specific magnetic loading, it depends upon the frequency. So Fakresh, the iron loss, what happens is that when we are giving this DC supply only, inside there is a AC current getting produced inside the DC machine. See, I have a
Sir.
very important question to ask you. Rajat AR,
Com-
now,
yes, commentators. It is
see,
not.
Fakresh, suppose inside the DC machine we are giving DC supply. Yes, we are giving DC supply. Are we giving DC or
Yes,
not?
sir.
Okay.
Sir, we
So,
give the
yeah, you are a diploma student, so you must be knowing a lot. You can teach me
Sir,
also.
DC supply it converts inside AC, sir. By
Ah,
help of
so
commutator.
no. What happens is that once you are giving the DC supply to inside, and it is not a single phase DC supply. From where you get this? You get it a rectified supply from a inverter mechanism, that is a three phase. Oh, that is a three phase. Yes. What you are doing? Okay, you said that is a three phase. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Yes. Pankresh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Somebody came in between. I got shocked because I was involved in that. So what happens is that once you are studying the machine, your machine should rotate inside your head. Okay, then only you can understand machines. So once you are giving the supply to the machine, inside the machine, what happens is that you get an AC supply produced. That's the reason we have the commutator and the brush arrangement for the mechanical rectification purpose, so that there would be a smooth torque produced at the output. If we don't have this mechanical and brush arrangement, what we will have a pulsating torque. Okay, so basically what happens is the number one faculty that governs the choice of the specific magnetic loading happens to be the frequency. So the iron loss in the machine is proportional to the frequency of the average flux density. So we know that our iron loss, that is the loss in the core, is proportional to the frequency. For example, iron loss are like the eddy current and the hysteresis losses. As you can see, the eddy current loss is directly proportional to the square of the frequency, whereas your hysteresis loss is also proportional, but it is linearly proportional to the frequency. any which ways. So you have frequency is linked to with the iron loss. So your higher frequency will result in, if you have a high frequency, it will result in what? It will result in more loss in the armature core and teeth. So what we do is that for machines having higher frequency, one should not choose higher value of magnetic flux density. So to keep the teeth flux density within the permissible limit. So frequency is one of the most governing functions. So here you see, so this BAV depends upon the frequency, okay, then size of the machine, then the voltage of the machine, and the teeth flux density. So this is a mnemonic way to remember. For example, if you are not remembering, in between keep BAV, okay, frequency, see, very easy na. See, frequency and voltage we know. North pole frequency, south pole voltage. Left, it's a map of India. Here in the middle, this is UP, on top Kashmir, Tamil Nadu, tooth flux density, Arunachal Pradesh, size is Gujarat, like that. So teeth flux density, how do you remember? With what happens is that if you have a higher flux density, that is flux by area, the flux density of the teeth at its minimum section also increases. So this should be kept in the range of 2.2 Weber per meter square. So values above this will increase your iron loss, and if the loss is increased, your efficiency will decrease. And loss results in form of heat. Any loss uh, results into heat, and that will also increase the temperature of the machine. So and also you will require a higher number of ampere turns are required to pass flux through the teeth, and this may increase the copper loss as well. Hence higher values of BAV should not be chosen. So okay, now one another factor, this was about the frequency and the teeth flux density. Another factor would be voltage. So for machines of high voltage rating, what we are supposed to do is that, say, Thara, are you there? Thara, Ishmita, what is it? Today, many, I can see 24 people. Anil Kumar AV.
Yes, sir.
Thara is not there, huh? Thara is
Some network issues.
Unnati, Vani Shri. Simply your Sushmita is also not there, huh?
And that's
You are a good girl. You are always there. Thara, Suchitra.
yes, sir.
Where are you? Like you are listening or not? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what about this Unnati? Vanishri, Sachin Reddy, all I am marking absent. Anil Kumar AV, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anupam S. Kumar, is this guy is yeah, are you there? Okay. Anupam,
Yes, sir.
so what I was talking about? Tell me.
Sir.
What I am teaching today? Induction motor or DC motor?
Induction.
Or induction. Yeah, very good. So I am teaching induction. Yeah, very good. Keep it up. Good. You can now. Yeah, Atul Patania. Atul,
Yes, sir.
what I am teaching today? What I am teaching? Atul, what I am teaching? Synchronous machine or transformer? Atul,
Hello?
what I am teaching? Synchronous machine or
Synchronous
transformer?
machine, sir.
Very good. Synchronous machine I am teaching. Very good. Well done. Fakresh,
Yes, sir.
what I am teaching?
Yes, sir.
What I am teaching? DC motor? No. You are, I think, in sleep. Atul Patania is saying synchronous machine. Anupam S. Kumar is telling induction machine. Maybe Manohar Reddy will tell I am teaching turbo or this thing, aircraft. Simply you are logging in. You think teacher is a fool over here. Anupam S. Kumar.
Sir.
See, the result is very pathetic. It is Time and again it will come like that only. If you are not paying attention in the class, not listening here, so design is not that easy a subject. I am teaching DC machines. Okay, Atul Patania. Atul Patania. Atul,
Yes, yes, sir.
I am not teaching synchronous machines. I am teaching DC machines. So please be present over here and listen to it. Manohar Reddy.
Yes, sir.
So are you there? Okay, Naveen KN. Naveen KN. Okay, so yeah, I am going to continue it as I'm saying you that you are not interested. So okay, so voltage for machines of high voltage rating, more space is required for insulation. No, for a given diameter of a machine, less space will be available for iron, so leading to narrower teeth. If a higher value of BAV is chosen, then the flux density may go above permissible limit, increasing the losses and decreasing efficiency. So the size with what happens if you have a high value of your BAV, your area of cross section needs to decrease because the average flux density will be more only because it depends upon flux by area. So if you are increasing the area, your average flux density decreases, and if you have lessening the area, automatically it will increase. So to avoid magnetic saturation, the width of tooth has to be increased. So this increases the diameter of the armature. With increased diameter, the volume and size will also increase. Suitable value of BAB usually ranges from 0.45 to 0.75 Weber per meter square. Now, choice of specific electrical loading. So the various factors that are governing the choice of the electrical loading means that ampere turns, I into number of turns. So basically, high value of AC increases the copper loss, and hence heat produced will be more. And a high value of AC means either the diameter is less or more copper is used. When the suppose the diameter is less, dissipation may be poor, and this is because of the reduced surface area. So here also you can see ampere conductor, it depends upon first of all temperature rise, then again size, voltage, reactance voltage. So for this reducing this reactance voltage, we are using compensating winding inside of the machine. This is speed, this is the armature reaction. So the overall insulation thickness will be more, leading to poor dissipation. Now for example, for high speed machines, so ventilation required is more, so losses could easily be dissipated. High speed machines usually will have a higher value of ampere turns, and high voltage rating machines would require more insulation because more the voltage, more amount of insulation protection will be required. And thus what will happen is that the available space for the copper does get decreased, and owing to the limitation imposed by the flux density in the teeth, it is not possible to reduce the space for iron. So the space for copper is reduced, not for iron. Iron means core, copper means the winding. In such cases, lower value of ampere conductors needs to be used for higher voltage. Now again for the size, like area of cross section will decrease. So ampere turns for large size machines have larger space for iron and copper, hence higher value of ampere conductor could be used. Now armature reaction. What is armature reaction? Can anyone tell me? Thara, what is armature reaction? Can you tell me? Thara? Thara?
Yes, sir.
What is armature reaction? Hmm. Tell me what is armature reaction? Sushmita?
Yes,
Sushmita?
sir.
Tell me what is armature reaction? What is armature? You have studied DC machines previously also, so you can tell Aram say what is armature reaction. In between also I have said many times what is armature reaction. You tell what is armature reaction. Can you tell? Sushmita?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell? No, can you, do you have any idea? right now?
I'm not so sure, sir.
So whatever is in your mind, please tell me. If it is right, if it is right. If it is wrong, we can correct it. Please tell me. What do you mean by armature reaction?
So the disturbance in the MMF due to the armature.
That is here. It is written here. So no, not like that. You are trying to paraphrase it. It's not the thing. Now I hide it. Now tell me what is armature reaction. Yeah. No, according to your mind, what comes to your mind when I say about armature reaction? Anything is there? Huh? You can say something. Sushmita,
Yes, sir.
anything comes to your mind when an armature reaction is said? Huh? Tell me, don't worry. It's not an examination. It's just like I'm trying to improve your thinking. Huh? So right now you're blank, huh?
It's the distortion produced when the MMF increases in the
Which MMF increases? Distortion where happens? Which MMF? Armature MMF increases or field MMF increases?
field MMF.
So because of field MMF, there is armature reaction.
Yes.
Okay. Leave. You can switch off your mic. Now listen carefully. What happens is that there is a field winding in a DC machine. The field winding is connected to the supply. Okay. And this field winding produces the main flux. Okay. And because there is some voltage that is in opposition to the field winding that gets induced in the armature. So this distorts the main field winding flux. This process is called as armature reaction. Armature reaction is not due to the field voltage, it is due to the voltage that is produced in the armature winding. Now, two things can happen with this armature reaction. Suppose the voltage that is getting induced in the armature is in phase or is in addition with the main field winding. So this MMF is called as magnetizing MMF. Suppose this MMF is not in phase or it is in opposition to this flux that is getting established. This is called as demagnetizing MMF. Suppose this MMF is at a quadrature 90 degree with respect to the magnetic flux that is getting induced. This is called as cross magnetization. Have you heard about demagnetization? Huh? Sushmita?
Yes, sir.
So this is what is meant by demagnetization, magnetization and cross magnetization. Okay. So what is armature reaction here? What happens is that we are concerned with the armature reaction with respect to the ampere turns. So with higher values of ampere turns, what happens is that the armature current obviously would increase because you have more current and more number of turns. So when your armature current is increasing, so this will increase the armature MMF also, because MMF in turn depends upon what your current into number of turns. So the armature reaction, which is the distortion of the field MMF due to the armature MMF, also increase. So higher values of AC should not be chosen. To compensate for the distortion, field ampere turns are increased, which increase the cost of copper. So again, there is one more term, that is reactance voltage. So what is that reactance voltage? It is the voltage drop due to leakage of armature winding. The reactance voltage increased due to higher AC. As higher AC increases armature current, and hence the drop is caused. So this can be usually delayed with the use of compensating winding, and we also use interpoles here. What is the, somebody was asking where interpoles is played and what is the role of it yesterday. So this is to, one thing is that to reduce the sparking and also to reduce this reactance voltage. So the value of armature conductors is usually in the range of 15,000 to 50,000 ampere per meter. Now, another factor that we are interested in, how do we go and select the number of poles? So, number of poles of an AC machine, for example, is fixed by frequency and speed. So the relation is that 120 F by N. But now in case of
ಹೌದಾ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲದ್ರು ಸರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ ವೈ
Sir,